Ichi, a normal high school student, got betrayed by his girlfriend so hard that he was at the edge of the rooftop, ready to end the misery once and for all. However, there was something else planned for him. The manga starts with our main protagonist texting someone. Up closer, it seems like he was texting his girlfriend, Miyuki, who seemed to turn him down from something. Ichi writes her back with cheerful praises and wishes. It was not a normal occasion. Rather, it was their special birthday date that they both planned so hard for, and he can't believe that she even rejected him on such a day. As he sits there wondering why he even bothered getting up and readying himself, we hear the loud train track noise over and over again. We learn that Ichi mustered the courage to confess his love to his one and only childhood friend, and with perfect timing, they both decided to date each other last Christmas. Everything was going very smooth with them until recently, and things had been a little weird. Just one glance at her, and anyone would know for a fact that they are not childhood friends, and the aura and presence she has is somewhat of an idol's. That is why almost everyone in the school considers her to be the beauty queen. He himself finds himself too lucky to be able to date such a person, and he has been very respectful and patient. They have gotten to the point that they haven't kissed each other yet. This time, it was very different, as he himself knew that she would never dodge a date and time together. But today it is clear that she is acting and making excuses. Although he was ready, he decided to just go to the restaurant they both planned to visit. Ichi thought that it would have been a waste to return home. Since he went all out on this date, he twirled through the horde of people, and soon he came across the place they planned to watch a movie together. Ichi imagines how it would have been for the both of them, and this time he would surely push the gas and push their relationship forward. Ichi made sure to make her feel comfortable and never, ever pushed her to the point where he would be taking advantage of her. As he shakes off the thoughts that almost made him a different man, he goes inside the nearby street. There, he heard entirely different sounds and music, and almost everywhere were couples, publicly embracing each other. The place that he ended up just near the location they were supposed to meet was a love hotel district. As he saw what was going on around, he blushes from embarrassment and quickly realized that this is an entirely different thing from what they planned. His mind shifted to fantasies again, and he imagined how their pace of relationship could skyrocket, and they would finally visit a love hotel and go a step beyond. As he imagined her expression and blushed even more, he was ready to leave the place, but there he heard a voice that he knew was of someone he knew. From the back, two couples were teasing each other, playing around with each other. And there, Miyuki was actually present in the love hotel district with a different man, holding him closer to her chest and having the best time of her life, as it seemed like they were in a deep and loving relationship. Ichi quickly called out to her with a weak and stuttering voice. Ichi was told by her that she would be working on something that her school gave her, and she would have to spend some more hours in the school. But in reality, she lied and went to the love hotel with a different man by her side and was having the best time of her life. When he called out to her, all her laughs went away in an instant, and she went into panic mode and started to stutter out his name, as he himself was left speechless and started to huff for air. With perfect timing, both asked each other what they were doing there. Ichi, in anger, grabbed her arm and pulled her near, and she ended up screaming that it hurts. In the next instant, the guy next to her smacks him very hard and knocks him down on the ground. As he looks up and questions what is going on, the guy next to her starts to spew how Ichi should keep his hands off of his girl. As he stutters from the pain and realization of something, the guy started to tell him how Miyuki actually dated him because he was her childhood friend, and she felt bad to even think about rejecting him and breaking Ichi's heart. He adds that she herself said these things about how boring he really is, and how sweaty his palms were when they started to date each other and held hands for the first time, in total disbelief. Ichi's entire world came crumbling down, and the guy laughs how Miyuki said all these things while moaning in the bed with him as they both embraced each other. As he heard this, the thin thread that he clung to snapped as well, and the pure girlfriend who he cherished more than anything and respected and trusted the most was actually saying the most painful words about him while embracing a different man. His poor eyes widened, and he prayed to God that this all be just a dream. He starts to panic, and the guy started to continue and mention that if she still likes her nobody boyfriend that much, she can end her ties with him, and with a cold voice he tells her to either break up with him or break up with me immediately. She starts to cry like a victim and beg him to stop and not end their relationship. She cries that she even went all the way with him, since she knew that he was the one for her. She even told him that she would die if she were to be separated. As he patted her head, Eiji was devastated to every extent, and the lowlife passed a big wide smirk, letting him know that he has his girlfriend wrapped around his finger. He pets her and tells her to scream out aloud what she thinks of him. There Miyuki starts to tell him that she thought of him as a boring, clingy stalker who pestered her more than anything, and she tells him in a cold voice that he was an abusive and horrible boyfriend. As she said this, poor Eiji just couldn't believe that this was the stop to his life with her, and the way she is handling and ending it made it something traumatizing. She ends everything that they had together and warns him to stay away from her, and there is no way that he can talk to her in the school. That day, after those two splashed him like an insect, destroyed everything that he cherished and trusted, he returned back to his home. His mother and older brother greeted him with a bright smile and asked if he is hungry and would like to eat something, since he ran away in a hurry and didn't even take a bite. Aji tells his brother that he is okay and quietly went to his bed. He just laid there and kept thinking of the thing that he just went through and how it was so simple for the two of them to end and stomp on him. He even started to skip dinners, and every time he would close his tearing eyes, he would get nightmares of the both of them embracing each other while laughing at Eiji. Both of them would laugh and spew how he just wasn't enough for her status, and every time he would pray for these nightmares to end and beg to let him have some peace. Soon Eiji came to the point that he started to fear falling asleep. After taking some time off, he went to the school again, and as he walked quietly, his friend surprises him from the back. There we see that Eiji was in a bad condition, as big black bags were under his eyes, indicating that he wasn't able to sleep at all. As his friend asked how his love life is, he dodges the question in front of him. He sees Miyuki casually walking and talking with her friends. He remembered how in the past, she would always call out to him and would pursue him as they were kids. Mustering up the courage, he decided to call out to her, and just as he was able to reach her, she notices this and glances back at him and calls out his name. Miyuki's best friend quickly gets in front of her and tells him to stay away, telling him that he is a disgusting and low-life creep. As she threatens him and warns him how she would end his life in an instant. Eiji never even did anything, and he just stood there wondering what was the crime he was being punished over. After school, he was inside his blanket again, since that is the only time he feels like he is safe. He gets a notification, and once he checked it, unknown messages started to shower on him, telling him that he is disgusting and he should just end it all. In an instant, his entire feed was filled with painful and dark messages, all blaming him for being a pervert, creepy and abusive piece of trash that should just disappear. He starts to gasp for air, and the messages piled up one after the other. He quickly throws away his phone, and the notifications and vibration from his mobile went on all night long. The next day, he was shaken to the core and went to the school. Somewhat he was sure that the prank happened to him was done by Miyuki's best friend. He opens the door to his classroom, and inside no one bothered him. But as he sat on his chair, he started to hear all sorts of gossips about him, and how he was the worst, an enemy to women, a stalker, a predator. His entire classroom was against him, and they went on and on. He speaks up and tells them that he didn't do anything, and Miyuki's friend slams his desk and tells him to shut up. She starts to tell how he stalks the two celebrities of the school, and how there were multiple people confirming that he would stalk Miyuki. It was clear that all hope was lost for him, and he was at a state where nothing was clear to him. As he ran off to eat his lunch on the rooftop, he ate it with dead and tired eyes. And his club also reminded him that there were no club activities, since there was a strange rumor going on. All the classes that he once thought he could rely on were no longer there. Since that is the only time he feels like he is safe, he gets a notification, and once he checked it, unknown messages started to shower on him, telling him that he is disgusting and he should just end it all. In an instant, his entire feed was filled with painful and dark messages, all blaming him for being a pervert, creepy and abusive piece of trash that should just disappear. He starts to gasp for air, and the messages piled up one after the other. He quickly throws away his phone, and the notifications and vibration from his mobile went on all night long. The next day, he was shaken to the core and went to the school. Somewhat he was sure that the prank happened to him was done by Miyuki's best friend. He opens the door to his classroom, and inside no one bothered him. But as he sat on his chair, he started to hear all sorts of gossips about him, and how he was the worst, an enemy to women, a stalker, a predator. His entire classroom was against him, and they went on and on. He speaks up and tells them that he didn't do anything, and Miyuki's friend slams his desk and tells him to shut up. She starts to tell how he stalks the two celebrities of the school, and how there were multiple people confirming that he would stalk Miyuki. It was clear that all hope was lost for him, and he was at a state where nothing was clear to him as he ran off to eat his lunch on the rooftop. He ate it with dead and tired eyes, and his club also reminded him that there were no club activities since there was a strange rumor going on. All the classes that he once thought he could rely on were no longer there. He musters the courage to visit the club president and ask for his help. But as he was about to open the door, he overhears everyone inside agreeing that he's creepy and looked like a criminal from the very start. They argue that recruiting him was a mistake and that they should just kick him out. Hearing this, tears begin to flow down his cheeks. He realizes that he's fighting a battle alone, surrounded by enemies with no allies in sight. Desperate, he tries to speak with a teacher who he thinks might help him. But as he reaches her office, Miyuki and her friend are already there, accusing him of following and stalking them. Miyuki agrees with them and claims everything feels terrifying. Eiji dashes off, understanding that he's fighting a losing battle that threatens to swallow him into a black hole. This is the end of his high school life. To corner him even more, the bullies begin threatening his parents, warning that if he snitches or calls for help, they'll settle the matter with his family. When he returns home, his mother senses that he's hiding something and asks if everything is okay. He listens to their concern quietly and walks away without saying anything. He could ask for help, but he knows he must protect his parents from being dragged into this nightmare. They keep encouraging him to enjoy school, and he forces a fake smile to reassure them that he's fine. Meanwhile, Miyuki becomes the biggest loser of them all. She hasn't just lost everything, she's lost herself. Sleepless nights haunt her as she questions whether everything was just a dream. She's horrified to realize that the life she thought would fall into place is instead collapsing. She constantly replays the thought that everything might have been different had she made different choices. She knows her childhood friend is being bullied and tormented by the entire school, yet she stays silent. Every time she sees him, she starts to cry but reminds herself that she doesn't deserve to cry. It all began when she expressed her frustration over how slowly her relationship with Aji was progressing. Her best friend then introduced her to her senior, Kondo. The school's soccer ace was everywhere. Miyuki, I felt excited to be around such a popular guy. His flirtatious words and constant praise made her blush unexpectedly. The two kissed, and their relationship escalated quickly. She even gave herself to him, convincing herself it was love. Guilt began to settle in, but Kondo always insulted Eiji, and the two continued down a shameful path. They were caught by Eiji before long, but even then, Miyuki still cared about the date she and Eiji were supposed to go on. Kondo would mock her, saying he could throw her away any time for another girl. Shortly after being exposed, Kondo dumped Miyuki and walked away. Miyuki ended up with nothing. She lost two people and tried to justify herself by thinking Eiji might forgive her. But Eiji had become someone else entirely. She kept her image intact by framing Eiji as the problem and avoided facing her guilt. She had lost a Gemma man who respected her and would have stayed by her side through life. Now, all she could do was weep for what she had destroyed. Meanwhile, Eiji's suffering only deepened. The bullying escalated. Students took every opportunity to hurt him and constantly reminded him that he was trash. One day, he entered his classroom and found the board covered with hateful words about him. Someone had even leaked his parents' location, encouraging others to target them. Seeing this, something inside Aji changed permanently. He had tried to protect his family, but now they were also at risk. Fueled by rage, he confronted Kondotha, root of his misery. Kondo laughed in his face, mocking him for losing everything and calling it entertaining. He admitted he enjoyed ruining Eiji's life of cruelty. Nothing but human cruelty echoed in his mind. He longed to be free. He just wanted to move on. He climbed to the most dangerous part of the school, one last step to let it all go. He opened the rooftop door, ready to finally be at ease. But then, he saw a girl. She looked back at him. A beautiful girl with pure eyes stared at him. He looked back at her, frozen. Eiji had no idea that this meeting would mark the beginning of something different. That's it for today. Hope you enjoy the video.